Hi guys, Sonova here. Thank you for joining me for another episode. Today I'm going to be talking about a case that I wrote about in this book right here. This is my 2018 case files book. It's got 23 cases in it, and today I'm going to be updating the case of Alexis Patterson. So you can check this book out. When you buy my books on Amazon, it actually helps me make more videos for you, helps me file for more FOIA requests and all of that. All that research costs money, and it helps me make more videos and helps bring more publicity to more cold cases. So I thank you in advance if you check out this book, or if you check out my affiliate coffee is Bones Coffee. So thank you in advance for checking out my affiliate links. It will help me help more people. So thank you. So Alexis Patterson, she's a beautiful 7-year-old girl. She was known as a ball of energy. Her nickname was Pie, probably because she was a cutie pie. She had a big, beautiful smile, and people loved to be around her. And she went missing on May 3rd, 2002, approximately 7:40 a.m. Her stepfather, Laurent Bourgeois, actually walked her to school. Now, where her house was situated, it was real close to High Mount School, where she attended. Her to the end of the sidewalk on the corner, which was approximately 242 steps away. And then he handed her over to the crossing guard. The crossing guard was an older student that was assigned to help the younger students walk across that road and get into the school property. And so he handed her off, he turned around, he walked back to the house, and she was never seen from again. Now, there's conflicting reports. Some students say they think they saw her that morning, but they're not sure. None of the teachers say they saw her. She didn't show up to any classes, so we are not 100% sure she ever made it into that property. Also, it is unusual that Laurent would walk his stepdaughter to school. He didn't normally do that. But there was a little bit of chaos going on at the school at the time, and so there could have been a reason for his walking her to school that day. Now, her mother's name was Ayanna Patterson. Her father's name was Kenya Campbell. Her stepfather, like I said, was Laurent Bourgeois, and he was the one that was actually in her life the most at that moment. Kenya Campbell, we'd find out later, was actually in jail, and he wouldn't get out for a few days after her going missing. So he's kind of out of the question suspect-wise. But anyway, so she lived in Washington Heights neighborhood there in Milwaukee, not too far from her school, and she didn't show up to class. Now, there was a little bit of things going on in the school, and it was one of those things where it didn't seem to be a big deal until afterwards. So there was a letter that had gone home to the parents previously. There was, I don't know if there was a kid that had tried to be kidnapped in another area, or if there was an attempted kidnapping at the school, or how it went, or if that was just something that they were talking about. But they sent home a letter saying, encourage your kids, don't be talking to strangers. There's this rumor going around that people are trying to kidnap small boys. So make sure and keep your kids safe. So that could have been why Laurent walked his stepdaughter to school. Who knows? We don't know. We don't have any verification. And the one key witness would be the statement from the crossing guard. Unfortunately, that has never been made public. So we don't know. Did that crossing guard actually see Laurent bring her over? I don't know. We won't know that. It's not public information at the moment. Now, there are so many things that gone wrong with this, but Alexis started out as they thought Alexis was actually a runaway to begin with, because she had left home angry that morning. That morning, her mother had told her she couldn't take the cupcakes to school that she was planning on taking to school because she hadn't followed through and done her homework like she told her mom she was going to the night before. And so Alexis was a little bit upset when she walked to school. So at 3:00, when the mother figured out she'd never been to school, she called the police, and the police thought, okay, ran away. So they brought in a bunch of searches. They brought in search dogs. They grid searched everything, thinking this little girl had run away. Well, it didn't take very long before they were beginning to suspect that this was more sinister Okay. Within a few days, they had changed it to kidnapping. And they didn't really publicly say why they changed their mind, but they did. Now, over the course of time, there's several rumors always pops up in any case. And when you're researching this, you have to understand that these rumors are just that. You can't, if you can't verify them, then they're just rumors. Now, I'm trying to pull this information up as I talk. Now, several informants would say, come forward over time and say that LaRon had something to do with it. Now, he adamantly denied this till the day he died. He did not have anything to do with this, is what he said. But these informants didn't say that he actually did anything to the girl. The informants said that LaRon was running drugs through that house. And that was actually known in the neighborhood by several different informants and things. Now, they say that he didn't pay one of his suppliers, and those suppliers kidnapped his daughter, his stepdaughter. Now, they also had one informant take it even farther and says they held her for 7 days until he couldn't pay, and then they killed her, and then they buried her near Milwaukee's Vincent High School, past the bushes and down the hill near the creek. Now, that's pretty specific, so I don't know. They didn't make any public announcements that they were digging there. I don't know. Maybe they didn't find this informant credible. Who knows? But here's where a major tragedy, beyond the tragedy of the case itself, this is where another tragedy hits Alexis Patterson. It's May 3rd, 2002. 1 month later, 1 month and 2 days later, just when Alexis is starting to get some publicity, the media goes crazy on a case that most of you have always heard of. Now, to this day, all these years later, if I mention the name Elizabeth Smart, most people I talk to, whether they're in true crime or not, kind of have a recollection. Oh, yeah, that was that girl that was kidnapped, right? Okay. You may not have all the details of the case, but you know it. Okay. That is the power of what media can do. Unfortunately, that power can also destroy cases like Alexis. Today's episode is brought to you by Bones Coffee Company. You can forget about boring coffee when you drink Bones Coffee. Not only do they offer a variety of flavors such as strawberry cheesecake and maple bacon, they are a family-owned company that puts great detail not only in their coffee, but in the artwork that comes on each individual bag. Bones Coffee has a coffee club that will deliver your favorite coffee to your door every month. If that wasn't enough, they also have some amazing swag to offer. Check out Bones Coffee Company today. I'll have my affiliate links in the show notes for you. Alexis' case was literally in the media forgotten. You've still got the mom fighting for answers. You've still got the stepdad claiming his innocence. You've got all these informants coming in. You've got whatever chaos that was going on at the school that they sent home that letter. You've got all this information coming out, but then the publicity that helps bring in leads for law enforcement so they can do their job stops. And so within a month, Alexis Patterson is forgotten in the national media. And so this is what's so devastating. Back when everything was hot, you push enough media right when it's hot, informants will come in and leads will come in and law officers can do their job and get things solved. But unfortunately, in this case is so disturbing because she was just starting to get some traction going, and then Elizabeth Smart happened. And this is the reason why I hate the fact that online media and mainstream media has the ability to do this. Now, nowadays, and I've talked about this before, in the years that I have been a victim's advocate and been trying to raise publicity for cases, I've seen this over and over again. I have one lady that her father was a Vietnam veteran. He was killed and left to die on the side of the road. And On the 19th anniversary, she went to the news media. They told her it wasn't sensational enough and it wasn't news. And then on the 20th anniversary, they turn around and come to her and ask her for a story. So it is so screwed up, the system is. I know they can't take every case, they can't do this, but they spend so much time on all these famous cases. And yet I come across hundreds and hundreds of obscure cases that nobody's heard about. And it just infuriates me to think that in a case like this, Milwaukee needed to be talking about Alexis Patterson. Milwaukee didn't need to talk about Elizabeth Smart. Elizabeth Smart was never in Milwaukee. You know, I realize when you get national coverage, it helps with cases. But by doing that, you're eliminating the leads that this police department could have gotten in. And so what we've done is you've got this beautiful little black girl who gets lost in the shuffle while everyone looks for the big, beautiful, blonde Elizabeth Smart. Now, I'm glad they found Elizabeth Smart. I'm not saying that. But I am saying there's something wrong when our media can be so powerful that 22 years later, you know the name Elizabeth Smart, but you also have no idea who Alexis Patterson is. So I want you guys to reflect on this and think about this when you start to watch these things. This is the reason why I love the age and the era that we're living in now, because the indie artists in music and all that, with the internet and all the streaming services, it kind of put everyone on a more level playing field. So instead of just watching all of the random things about all the big famous cases, now you can watch YouTubers, you can watch podcasters, listen to podcasters, you can watch all these little independent operators give you information. And I encourage you, as a true crime follower, as a victim's advocate, as a victim's family member, put your support in small-time YouTubers and small-time researchers and small-time podcasts, because we're out there while everybody's shouting about the famous cases. We're out there grinding, trying to get publicity for people like Alexis Patterson. Now, Alexis Patterson has been missing for 22 years. Now, there hasn't been a whole lot of things go on in her case. Now, I am going to tell you about one interesting thing that happened in 2016. But other than that, there hasn't been really any movement in this. And that's what's disturbing. You have law enforcement who think they kind of have an idea that it might be something to do with LaRon's business associates, but they don't have anything else. And they can't do anything with that. And now LaRon is dead. Okay. So if we'd have got the publicity on this little girl's case when it was needed the most, I think this could have been solved relatively quickly. So 2016, let me calm down a bit, lower my blood pressure. To me, this was a beautiful little girl. And there is no reason why everyone in America shouldn't know her name. And that's what bugs me. That's what gets under my skin. Anyways, 2016, there was an interesting thing happen in this case. A woman in Ohio came across the radar. Her ex-husband and his fiance, or however it worked, thought that this woman may have been the missing Alexis Patterson, because this woman shared a lot of similarities to Alexis Patterson. She was relatively close in age, but her pictures looked so similar. But then there was also different natural markings on her body that seemed to line up with Alexis Patterson. Now, this woman didn't have a really strong sense of her past. Everything was kind of cloudy before 10 years old. She wasn't real sure. And just some different things made this man think this. So he reached out, and there was some DNA testing done in 2016. Now, the mother, Ayana, believes that this could possibly be her daughter. And she says that she believes the DNA testing proved it. The law enforcement, however, refute that and say that it didn't. But the Ayana believes that the way the DNA testing was done, it was done on some old samples and done this way and that way. It had to run between several different departments and things, and she's wondering if it could have been mishandled. And there's a possibility it could have been mishandled. But that is literally where this case stands. 22 years later, little Alexis Patterson is still missing. We do not know what happened to her. We do not know if she is alive or if she has passed away. We do not know if she is this woman in Ohio or not. Like I said, the mother tended to believe that it was, and there hasn't been any updates to prove that her mind has been changed. So I don't know if her mind's been changed. She believed that this was her daughter because there was all kinds of little markings. You know, we all have little birthmarks and moles and things like that. And there, I think they found 8 that were lined up with Alexis. So we all hope that maybe this will work out and Ayana has her daughter again, but we don't know. And we may never know if if nobody follows through and does another DNA test. We may never know for sure. And so this is just one of those cases that I wanted to give you the update, but I also wanted to use it kind of as a life lesson. You know, we need to understand that people need our help raising awareness about these cases. So when you watch a video like mine or others, you don't necessarily have to be just mine, of course. But when you're watching a small-time operator like me on a YouTube channel, and they've got good, valuable information, it's a good, they've done their research and they do a good job. Make sure and share it, because you sharing that, we can make a case like this go viral and do some good. And so this is what I encourage you guys to do. Share this story. Maybe we can raise some publicity for this poor little girl who didn't get it 22 years ago when she needed it most. So I hope you enjoy the show. Check out my book if you want to find out more cold cases. Like I said, there's 23 in here. I'm systematically going through and updating all of them. So as you go through, you'll find my original writing in 2018, but you'll also find all kinds of updates. So I will see you next time around. Bye, guys.